Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Oneness Junkie podcast, hosted by me, Lydia Smith, a self-proclaimed Oneness Junkie. Oneness Junkie is a place to be inspired, encouraged, and supported. Learn from the individuals who are working to make the world a better place. Let's meet today's guest. Hello, everyone. It's Lydia with the Oneness Junkie podcast and YouTube channel. And today I'm sitting here with Kimberly Miller from Summerhouse Houston. Hi, Kimberly.
Hello, Lydia.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I look forward to learning more about Summerhouse. I haven't learned a whole lot, but that's the fun of actually interviewing the various nonprofits and people that I'm interested in getting the word out about what they do. So in order to get started, can we just get a little bit of background about you and how you got involved with Summerhouse before we introduce Summerhouse to the audience?
Of course, most definitely. So I am a mom of 5 teens and also a dog mom of 3 rescues. So finding the time to get involved in the community can be challenging in some aspects just because schedules being what it is. But I was fortunate to be introduced to Summerhouse a couple of years ago and came into it as the aspect of the community relations director. So that has afforded me the opportunity to be in the neighborhoods and the surrounding greater Houston area, connecting and sharing with people more about Summerhouse. And it's been a true delight to have that opportunity.
That's great. Did you have any connection with the IDD community before you met Summerhouse?
My mom was a special ed teacher. So when I was in her classroom, I had the opportunity to be a part and with her students and just had bonds that have long since, stuck with me and the memories that were made there. And just seeing the impact as a teacher she had on these individuals, and not just the individuals, but the families as well, too. It was lasting memories for myself and just the relationships that she had developed over the years.
That's great. And just to help put a foundation in place, because I just used an acronym, IDD. I didn't know the IDD acronym until you told me when we were on the phone. So could you explain what the IDD acronym is?
Yes. IDD stands for Intellectual Development Disabilities. So that spans a broad range. It can be someone with autism, someone with Downs, but that's, I guess, a bit of a blanket identification for individuals with intellectual development disabilities.
Okay, great. So you started with Summerhouse when?
Oh, wow. 2 years ago, actually, was my initial start. And the minute walking into the door and being greeted by the members there, it was just a feeling of belonging and acceptance. These individuals have such great desires to be able to be a part of the community and for the community to accept them. Oftentimes, it's referred to as a underserved population. And particularly with Summerhouse, we support the individuals post-high school. So after they age out of the school systems, they look for programs like Summerhouse to be able to connect, just to see what the next step is for them in their young adulthood. And that's where we try to walk alongside them and support them through one-on-one relationships. We have a very small 4-to-1 ratio program to staff, or members to staff. That is. So we really do try to keep it personable. And it's not just the members that we serve, but also the families as well, too.
Okay. So let's go back. I like for the nonprofit to be understood from its origin. So
Absolutely.
Can you just go back and actually share with us where did it get generated? How did it become a nonprofit? Why did it become a nonprofit? Let's start there, and then we'll move more into who you serve and what you're contributing to this population and so forth. We'll go deeper.
Okay, yes. Summerhouse was actually founded by a brilliantly deep-hearted individual named Donna Frichet. her daughter, Summer, as I mentioned, had aged out of the school system. And so she was searching for a program for Summer to transition into and just couldn't find the right fit for Summer. So she took it upon herself to initiate Summerhouse Houston, which started out in a tiny bungalow spot in the Heights and grew overnight and basically grew out of the building, the facility that they had there, because I think it was probably capped at about 10 to 12 individuals. So the demand was so great for it. So we found a little plot of land in Spring Branch about 5 years ago and took a leap of faith and built our building, our campus in Spring Branch, where we reside at now. And as a result, we've been able to increase our attendance or increase our enrollment and be able to serve more individuals through our not only day program, but also through our supported employment services, which provides job coaching and vocational placement for individuals.
Okay. So what year was that the Summer House origin started?
It started 12 years ago. So, and then our most recent, as I said, building dedication that we just had a couple of weeks ago allowed for a new expansion at our existing campus, which provides more classroom space, office space to better serve our individuals and provide the vocational through our supported employment services as well.
Okay, great. So I'm hoping that people who are, maybe subscribers to my podcast are just being informed to learn about new things related to this population that you're able to serve. So can you let us know what exactly, kind of just get into it about what exactly does it do? And then how do the people have their days? And then we're going to ask you to describe the other side of it about who you're also serving in this matchmaking process that you have.
Yes, it is, as I mentioned, a day program that runs Monday through Friday. So a typical day at Summerhouse when members arrive on campus is they'll connect with their groups and their schedules. They work together as a group to determine where they're going to volunteer at, where they're going to interact at, what their social aspect of the day is going to be. They work together to meal plan, all types of interesting things that sometimes we take for granted as individuals, but these members and their group leader, program staff work together to be out and about in the communities. And they do that for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, one, to develop their interpersonal skills, their social skills, their vocational skills. And that can be done through volunteering at maybe the Houston Food Bank, some Main Street Ministries. They have over 20 plus volunteer sites where they are out and about. And it's not just supporting their pursuits of being in the community, but it's also for the community to see that it's important that these individuals are acknowledged and accepted for who they are. And so it's in many ways educating the community on what these individuals have to offer.
Okay. And I heard you use the term age out, but can you get more specific about what are the ages from the program? Like when can you enter and when does the program no longer serve you based on your age?
Yes. So aging out means basically in Texas, when they're leaving the school, the public school system or the school system post high school, roughly 18 to 19 years old, individuals can join programs such as Summerhouse. There's others out there as well too. But for instance, Summerhouse ages range from 18 to early 30. So the median age is around 25.
Okay. Now, do they age out of Summerhouse at 30? I mean, what happens to them after 30?
Well, that's the beauty of it because we're such a young program. Our, I guess, original individuals that joined us 12 years ago are now, at that older age. And we're just trying to determine what's the best avenue for them. Ideally, finding more vocational support for them so they're able to work more than necessarily being in the day program is one option as well, too, though.
Okay, good. So you help them with vocational skills and communication and social skills at the program, but then you also find them work, right? The vocational part of it. Is this the time where we would be talking about who you're matching them with and how that transition happens?
Absolutely. So, through their time in the communities and their volunteering, those skills are being developed, and we're also honing in on what their interests are. I mean, what area or arena of work they would like to be in, and what type of qualifications or skill sets they have for those jobs. So, well, that's all undergoing or behind the scenes, calculating and helping support not only the members of Summerhouse, but also their families as they make that transition. We're also looking to find employers that make that connection and that are interested in being a part of our Summerhouse employment program as well. So, and because we have job coaches that can be on site with the members, they will work with them at their job to help develop those skills that might be needed or might be missing to carry out the task by their employer.
Wow. So like the employer will say this, I have these, sanitation, utensils for sterilization, but I don't have anyone to train you. So the staff goes over there and kind of works with them for a certain amount of time till they're kind of ready to do it on their own. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. We have a phenomenal supported employment service group that will literally be alongside with them, helping them to determine what they might be lacking in, maybe finding better ways to achieve whatever those goals are. And I was obviously staying in contact with the employer as well, too, just to make sure they're supported as well. So we have clients that work for HEB, TJ Maxx, Goodwill. There's a range of opportunities there, but we're always in need of additional employers and companies that will walk alongside with us and be matched up with one of our clients.
That's great. Are there any incentives? This is a random question. I don't even know, this is just
I love
coming to
random
my mind.
questions.
No, it's just coming to my mind. Like I'm like an innovation type concept person. So, do the corporations have any incentive to hire this particular population in order to for the I want to educate the employer so that if they didn't know that this could benefit them in some way, how they would want to be matched up with you so that they could benefit. So let's talk about that.
Most definitely. There are tax benefits to that by
Okay.
hiring individuals through the IDD community. And we've been able to walk through that with employers, just what that looks like and supporting them as they make those determinations. But yes, that is a huge benefit to be able to hire within the IDD community and the tax
That's,
support that's provided
that's
with that.
amazing. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
win-win. It's a win-win
absolutely.
relationship, right?
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
can you tell us I mean, because when you and I were talking, I was asking you like, what do you need? What can we talk about? And you said you're always looking for great employer relationship opportunities to match the right individuals into those programs. So let's talk about some dream or where you've heard of successful things, successful employer situations. Maybe you don't have those in your repertoire right now, but you're looking to acquire those relationships. What are some of the industries or the job possibilities so we can spark some thoughts for any listener who might work for a corporation in the HR department that wants to consider where they can find a fit in their organization. So let's kind of help them brainstorm by talking about this.
Most definitely. We have some very creative individuals that are looking for jobs from graphic design to marketing to variations of business aspects. So we are always looking for those companies that are willing to take on an individual that, with IDD and be able to support them along the way. And like I said, with Summerhouse, we are supporting and hanging out with them and encouraging them as well too. So individuals that not necessarily just want to be in a food service industry, but want to be in a different. We have individuals that are teachers' aides at some of the schools that have always dreamed to be, have always dreamed to be in a classroom setting, that we've been able to fulfill those wishes for them. And some of our alumni have graduated to move on to those roles that they've never thought would be possible, but because of the training and the support they've been given through our Summerhouse and our job coaches, they're now living out those dreams. So
Great. And when we were talking about hospital systems. What have you found that the hospital systems have been able to place people and have, jobs?
Yes, we've actually had, I know at least one individual from Summerhouse that worked in the medical center, just, supporting in the labs, more admin type work along those lines. And uh, again, flourished in that role and still probably is in that role, to be quite honest. It's been a month since I checked in on her. So hospitals, yes, working within, even as I mentioned earlier, just some of the food service industries, whether it be the cafes. We have some individuals at the Chick-fil-A's, those type of opportunities as well too. But yes,
Yeah. And
so many different skill sets that are involved in that.
yeah, and I mean, I used to be a medical sales rep, and there's, the departments like the laundry department. You were
Mhm.
telling me that some of the types of jobs that these individuals love are some of that predictable, repetitive
Really.
type work. So,
Mhm.
talk about that so people can come up with ideas for their companies.
Absolutely. So, repetition is a great way to describe it. Assembly line format, that type of thing. We originally, one of the jobs at Summer of Summerhouse, our original founder, enjoyed was shredding. So we had a shred business within Summerhouse called Shred for Independence. So it just gave our members the opportunity who loved the repetition of the paper going in and the sound to be able to enjoy carrying out the task. So that's just one example. Others, rolling the silverware at the restaurants, that's another option. Stocking the inventory in the pantries at, some of the shelters, the food pantries that we work at as well too. So repetition's great for many of our members, but they also can branch out and take on other tasks. But that's where the job coaches come in handy, because they create these routines for them, so they're comfortable with the situation that they're in from the workforce.
Right out of college, one of my first jobs was representing a company that was a labor company. And
Mhm.
so they were doing things like warehouse assembly, putting products in packages and then
Yes.
having the packages go down the assembly line. And it was the same thing. You're putting the same thing in the box,
Sure.
you fold it a certain way and move it down the line. So just anyone out there who has a repetitive style
Mhm.
job, reach out to Summerhouse Houston and see if there's a fit, see if there's a need, and see if there's a fit. So, is there anything else that we should talk about related to Summerhouse to let the world know what Summerhouse is up to?
Well, yes, thank you, Lydia, again for the opportunity. We are fundraising, as many nonprofits this day and age is finding it more and more challenging. But that being said, we're very hopeful for the opportunities that our fundraising allows for scholarships for individuals that may not otherwise be able to take on or be a part of the program. So, that being said, if you visit our website at www.summerhousehouston.org. There's a list of upcoming events, from a crawfest that we're hosting on April 18th to a golf tournament on May 6th, and then also our fall gala on October 17th. All that information can be found at our website at summerhousehouston.org.
Wonderful. Let's go talk about funding for a little bit before we wrap up this. This is a big part of nonprofits. So, are you primarily government grant funded or individual funding? Where do most of your funds come from when you're fundraising?
Sure. Well, fundraising, um, it's a great question, because we are a nonprofit. We utilize our fundraising through our communities. We have oftentimes, opportunities for corporate sponsorships to be a part of our events. Our families of Summerhouse have been fantastic about it. Our neighbors of Spring Branch District are super great about supporting us as well. So, but just trying to walk alongside and build those community relations with individuals and companies, really crucial this day and age, now more than ever, for our fundraising and the
Yeah.
opportunities that it benefits for.
I used to do some marketing for a nonprofit church, a nonprofit, non-denominational church. And what they would do is they would take their funds and they would donate to outside nonprofits that they vetted
Yeah.
to like an extension of the church focus was to help the community, but through something like Summer House, because the church wasn't in the business of what the Summer House does, but they didn't mind passing funds through to help the nonprofits. So do you get also churches to donate? Because I'm trying to inspire churches if they're looking for a place to
Yes.
donate to in the local area.
Yes,
Consider it.
I love the opportunities that abound within our churches, our synagogues, those that are looking to, maybe expand their missions outside of the church and that type of realm. But yes, we love to walk alongside those individuals and those organizations that do want to support. And, at any given time, I would welcome and encourage those churches or companies or corporations that want to find out more besides just visiting the website, just to, reach out to us and take a tour and see what we're all about. Come meet our members and, join us on one of our outings at one of our volunteer sites. And I think you'll really be enlightened by these individuals and just how fortunate and blessed we are to be a part of
Yeah.
Summerhouse.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, this is a global platform that we're speaking on. So if there's even any organizations or even an individual who's moved, maybe they're outside of the state or the city, and they still want to support the mission because maybe they had a child or maybe they had a family member that they knew the value of what you're providing. I just encourage you to consider supporting organizations like Summer House in order to help the community thrive. And if I'm not mistaken, that community is getting larger and larger and larger. Just seems like you're hearing more about Asperger's, autism spectrum. There's these terms that, back in the 70s, we weren't really talking about it that much.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's so prevalent now.
No, unfortunately, you're correct, Lydia. And just removing the stigma of, the association of these individuals and the marginalized, population that sometimes, resonates when it comes to finding a place in the community and for a community accepting them. We live in a world where we're focusing on inclusivity, and we need to make sure every individual has that opportunity to be a part and have a viable job or a viable volunteer shift or whatever it may be, but just acknowledging and respecting that, it's vital now more than ever.
Absolutely. And that's a good segue for me to remind everyone that the Oneness Junkie podcast and YouTube channel was created to highlight individuals and or now organizations who are using their time and talents and resources to make the world a better place. And that's why we have an organization like Summer House on the show to help bring a light and a spotlight into more of how people are using their energy to help expand and raise the consciousness of our planet so that we are all helping each other and that we're better together when we work together, right, Kimberly?
Indeed, indeed. No words have ever been truer. Agreed.
Good. Well, we're here to spread more compassion and love in the world. And I know that y'all are already doing that. So I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to highlight y'all and share what y'all are up to. And I really hope that, you have a fantastic year of fundraising. And the more funds you get, the more you're able to service the population that you're focused on, right?
And yes, most definitely. And again, any questions that you guys may have, please feel free to reach out to me as well. My email address is Kimberly@summerhousehouston.org as well.
Great. So go ahead and go to www.summerhousehouston.org. I'm sure they have a contact us form on there,
Mhm.
and then y'all can get a communication. So thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to the audience?
Oh, again, Lydia, I appreciate the platform, the opportunity to have this time to chat with you. And I love what you're doing. So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, we wish everyone the best and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. We've reached the end of this episode. If you'd like to continue with this inspirational journey, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. If you are a self-proclaimed Oneness junkie, get yourself a t-shirt and spread the message of oneness in your community. And finally, if you have a story to share or know someone that should be a guest on this podcast, contact us at onenessjunkie.com. See you next time. And remember, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Compassion starts with you and me.